Okay, this situation is pretty damn cool, and honestly, the likes of World of Warcraft could probably learn from it. Final Fantasy XIV has not had a content patch since 5.55 added some MSQ quests all the way back in May. The small handful of patches since have just been minor systems adjustments and the removal of a lockout. So complete content drought until Endwalker, right? Well, usually the content gap between the final patch and a new expansion can be long and it can be brutal, leaving a game in a state of almost undeath until it explodes with life again. That's an almost natural thing in MMOs, or at least we thought so. Watching FF14 over the last few months has shown us that it does not have to be that way. I could go off about horizontal progression, relic grinds, social aspects, or there being a lot of content to catch up on if you're a new player to the game, but those things are pretty damn obvious. They're just static bits of the game. They're always there, so they keep the game at this base high level of content, which is great and all, but it doesn't bring the same energy that new content, the new things does. So, how does FF14 not have a single content patch, but still be injected with energy? Well, since 5.55, there have been 7 seasonal events. That's actually more than one per month. Now, obviously, I'm coming from a World of Warcraft background, and in WoW, to be honest, we don't put a lot of weight into our seasonal events anymore. Some of them, certainly, like Brewfest, Midsummer, Winter Veil, Hallow's End, they do have some cool little things attached, but the ones that bring something interesting to do are a bit more few and far between, and being real here, they have not changed much, if at all, in upward of 10 years. Do them once and they're done. Over in FF though, the events feel so lively. Since 5.55, there have been 5 events that have brought some form of content, and then 2 iterations of the Mog Treasure trove, your own of which you can get with Boxu, the place to get a slice of Japan each month, and with my code, you'll get 10% off up to $47 down below. Now, their boxes are a super fun journey through top-notch Japanese snacking. Like, these literally do ship from Japan. It's great. You get the little booklet going over everything, all the snack makers they partner with. They do some unique treats too. It really is the perfect gift, and you may even get tickets to Japan because Boxu is doing a giveaway of 5 sets, and anyone who is subscribed before the end of December is eligible. Now, this month, I've got snacks from 12 prefectures. Right, so we've got awesome stuff. These gummies, blueberry gummies, they're insane. We have yuzu, like souffle sort of thing, delicious. And while we're on that, right, yuzu pepper popcorn. This is madness. I cannot believe that just yuzu stuff is not over here. Really good. We, of course, as always, have got some delicious tea. We've got, there's yam pies, and then this, right? This is like a crunchy, caramelized apple treat. It's bonkers. It's so cool. You can get 10% off up to $47 if you hit up our link down below. These are a bunch of fun. They make for a great gift. And hey, you've probably never tasted the unique snacks that come from Japan. So thanks, Boxu. Let's go. The first big event that most of the new wave of FF14 players got was the Make It Rain campaign. I actually missed it, but for almost a month, the Manderville Gold Saucer points earned had a 50% bonus applied, and there was also a heist for people to investigate. So first up, this obviously acted as a big rallying cry for players, especially the new wave, to get lost in the Gold Saucer for a few weeks. A lot of people were introduced to the Fashion Report, which itself is a pretty damn cool little system. We lost a few good men to Chocobo Racing, and overall, it was just cool. I mean, even not being super in at the time, I remember watching the videos. Somewhat similar, actually, to a real-life fair. I suppose that's how it felt. But there's another dimension to this event as well, because everybody at the time knew that the FF15 crossover event was coming up soon, and that brought the Regalia Type G, which is the 4-seater car that can be bought with MGP. Now, this super expensive car is on the horizon, so people who had missed out on it before had all the more reason to join in and make some bank in the Gold Saucer. Then, of course, there's the Great Horn Heist quest, which may have only been one measly evening worth of questing, but it was a pretty cool set of quests. really the strength of FF's quest writing. It just shines when they get you to feel invested. In this case, the apparent false accusation, and they've managed to keep sort of people on the edge of their seat trying to figure out the true culprit. It was a pretty cool little event, actually. Matt gave me the full skinny on it. I guess a little slice of Phoenix Wright, complete with all the intrigue, so I hope it comes around again, because that sounds cool. Now, the next one wasn't very much. It was the Moonfire Faire, a 2-week-long summertime event with a new quest attached each year, and sometimes some fates. Now, this one had a new reward attached. It was the polar bear mount that you see all over the place. Drew some laughs because, of course, it was a polar bear mount. It would almost remind you of, like, the BlizzCon polar bear mount, and it all hit during peak anti-Blizzard Entertainment sentiment. And, of course, you're killing a blizzard of bombards. It wasn't a massive set of content, about a 15 to 20 minute quest and a grindable fate for some cute rewards, but hey, it was a new thing in the game. Breaks up the monotony with something new. There's certainly an argument to be made against not bringing old fun content back, like the jump tower that was there in 2018, but I suppose that's the price of having some new stuff. Now, there is of course more. Right after the last one ended, the game moved right into another one, this time The Rising, which is the yearly anniversary celebration. No real special content here, but it's a time of year, of course, where the dev team is extending their thanks to the players and kind of reflecting on the past year. It's a personal speech to the player base, and it's delivered to you and your character by Yoshi P himself. And, there's kind of nothing else like it, really, in just about any other game. It is a really cool touch, and again, it is one that did waves on the internet, showing the importance of these events and how they can just keep people talking about the game and, well, keep it in the headlines. The next one was the return of a crossover, and it's one that shows just how much the team love the properties that they work with. I mean, that's pretty obvious if you look at past FF games being referenced in FF14. Over the course of the short quest chain to find a way home for Noctis, it culminates in the fight against Garuda. It's not our Garuda, though. It is, of course, Final Fantasy XV Garuda, because that's just one of the cool things about the FF series. Now, if you've seen any FF15 at all, you'll have seen Noctis teleport around the place like mad with his warp strike. And because these devs all seem to love FF as much as the players do, and understand what we think is going to be cool, we get to do that as well. And the result of this is the really unique solo duty against Garuda, which is totally designed around using warp strike at the right time to dodge a whole bunch of her attacks and do bonus damage with Noctis. All in all, it's about 45 minutes of questing, of course, Noctis's outfit, a farmable fate to get some extra rewards, and of course, the ability to buy the car with MGP. Oh, and if you've played FF15, 14's Garuda Extreme Fight was actually adapted for that game, and it had its own seasonal content. Not to rail too much on Blizzard here, but when FF14 is doing this stuff, referencing the other Square Enix games so well, it does make you wonder why Blizzard don't do that a little bit more with World of Warcraft. I mean, there's a World of Warcraft Hearthstone cross-promotion, but it just kind of reeks of money and doesn't feel good. Then, of course, there is the other big Square Enix crossover, Dragon Quest X, which again made a return. Puffs. They just have so much fun with their quest presentation and the in-game cinematics here. It's all really cool. We get to watch the clip of Preach getting his puff. All the content really over these 5 events. It really does amount to no more than a few hours of quests and a few more just bits of fate grinding for rewards. 2 of the crossovers are just returning events from a few years ago, but all of this stuff is happening with there being just nothing else happening in the game. And that means that they fill a gap, they add some flavor, they make it still feel alive. And we've not even talked about the Moogle events. The Mog Treasure events are just cool. I mean, the idea of adding a currency, irregular tomestones, to a whole bunch of content and then hand selecting a bunch of existing rewards to sell for that currency, it is a really interesting way to just throw some variety into a big cosmetic farm that I guess is the sort of thing an MMO always ends up having, and of course it keeps the queues populated. It's a pretty neat solution to some of the problems that a game like this will face during a content drought. Of course, the Inferno jacket from this one is pretty cool, and the fact that they cycle through existing rewards is really neat, but the thing that's impressive is how it just ends up feeling to the players. To use one example, the Dark Lanner from Nidhogg Extreme costs 50 tomes right now. Farming him solo for the Dark Lanner itself is a bit slow, and getting a group to farm it with you can be fun, but it is also a big grind with a low drop chance. Of course, mount farming has that excellent fallback of costing 99 kills worth of totems, which you'll get one of for each kill, but the Moogle events kind of act like another fallback. As an example, Matt, he has just been doing roulettes and some dungeon spam to level up Warrior and White Mage. He's doing that ahead of Endwalker. And before Matt even realized, he had enough for Dark Lanner, which is something he had been meaning to go and farm, but he actually ended up getting as a reward for regular play because it was done during this event. But above anything else, here's what is impressive. Me and Matt come from World of Warcraft, where, largely speaking, you are limited creatively in your gameplay. There's, of course, a ton of talents and gear choice, and that's all pretty cool, but if something gets too out of line or is in an odd part of the game, it can get nerfed. The fun police is what we call them in World of Warcraft land, and, well, here's an example. People started making speed farming sets for old raids, right? So you could just run really, really, really fast. Blizzard noticed, and then the speed sets were nerfed into the ground. So those players just had to go more slowly. Now, how does it apply to this? Well, if you've been paying attention, and you will have seen the Blue Mage tombstone farming that is going on. Now, Blue Mage, if you're unfamiliar, and initially I was because it's bonkers, it's a limited job. So the cap right now is level 80, of course, it only goes to level 70, and it's actually disqualified for most forms of content in the game. But that's because it's a Blue Mage. It's a staple of the FF series, and its gimmick is that it learns enemy abilities. It's got 104 spells that it can learn, and some of them are just bonkers. Instant kills, 90% damage reductions, stuns that ignore resistance. Basically, they are totally busted, and they are a whole minigame in themselves, just learning all of the spells that they can learn from the right bosses, doing the Masked Carnival and the achievements for clearing Savage. Blue Mage is just cool. But anyway, this is relevant because people found a way to farm the hell out of the irregular tombstones with Blue Mage shenanigans. Because basically a party of them can absolutely delete Coil's turn 2 with the right combo of spells, and, I mean, look, this happened for both me and Matt. It's our first instinct as WoW players. We were just like, when's that going to get nerfed? It's been 2 weeks, and the fun police haven't shown up. What? That's weird! In fact, these players who have now figured out how to use the game mechanics, cleverly, they are going to max out their MGP, they're going to get some mounts, they're going to fill their bags with goodies from the event. And while it may seem a bit abusive, do you know what? It is a bit of player-driven content that is enabled by an event. Because if they nerfed this, a bunch of those people just wouldn't bother. But hey, now guess what's happening? They're logging into FF14 and paying a subscription. So next time it turns up, this event will give us a different list of rewards that, just give us new stuff, and maybe those, Blue Mage farmers will have to go discover a new strategy. So it's a great experience for the players on basically every level. It's a neat way to make the best of what they've got. Another big thing is just the scheduling. I mean, being guaranteed at least a new continuation of an event with familiar characters around the same time every year is, of course, a great start, even if it is nothing special. You know it at least will be there that there might be something new. And then, of course, the crossover events, well, they are not going to be new the second or third time that they're cycled into the game, but many people will have missed them, won't have fully done them before, so it's just good that they keep on coming up. And reading on how events have changed over time has also been really fun. And it's just added to this feeling that FF is an MMO that is always moving forward, and the players are just always looked after a little bit, even when the devs are hard at work on the next expansion. Like Yoshi P said in the Rising this year, what a pleasure it is to welcome you here again, and what a privilege that your chosen trail should run alongside mine for so long. And I think the reason the trail runs alongside for so long is because of the quality, of course, but also the stability and the reliable content. These events are just one small part of how FF14 keeps it all ticking. I think they're overlooked compared to a reliable patch cycle and good systems design, but I think we would sorely miss them if they were gone. In a way, that is it. That is actually it for the original video, but I do have a final thing to talk to you about. And no, it's not self-promo for the game we're making, The Pale Beyond, wishlist it in Steam. It's actually a little bit of World of Warcraft, because I remember, after the Siege of Orgrimmar, way back in the day, it was 14 months till Warlords of Draenor came out, and Blizzard at that time started doing some double XP weekends, some little bonus events for things. I think they did a double Valor month or whatever. And those did juice up the game a little bit. If you were rolling a new alt, you'd be like, oh, cool, I'll level faster or whatever. And while not as creative or involved as what FF14 is doing now, it helped. And that has just made me wonder. World of Warcraft has got its seasonal events. You know, the ones that are based on real-world holidays from various regions of the world. We've got Chinese New Year. We've got, I guess, Christmas. We've got, summer, Halloween, all these things. But they've been left to languish. And it's something that came to me maybe a week ago when I was actually thinking about this very video and about FF14. If Blizzard did a World of Warcraft expansion, and they said that one of their major features was that every single holiday event in the game was getting a massive amount of work done, then I would think to myself, okay, so not only is the expansion going to come out, not only am I going to get some patches, but I'm always going to get a cool event, a new thing every month. And when we tie that to the core fundamental business model of an MMORPG, surely it should be in their financial interest to do so. So this is a way to praise Final Fantasy XIV, but also it's a way to say, hey Blizzard, I think this is something that you guys should take a look at. See if you could do it a little bit better. Right now you've got your weird bonus week system. Well, it's not really that great, is it? And the in-game events have not really been developed much, have they? So let's take a look at what Yoshi P and everyone's doing. I'm sure they wouldn't mind borrowing some great ideas. After all, they've been very humble about how they borrowed a lot of ideas from World of Warcraft Cataclysm when it came to doing A Realm Reborn. Okay, with that final thought, thank you for watching. Let me know if this stuff's helped you, kept you playing the game more. Let me know what you think. With that, I'll see you next time.